Good morning, friends. How are you? This pre-party has been going on since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Welcome back. Where's Summer? Welcome back. I was texting back and forth with Tiffany this morning. Hello, Leo. Hi, Nani. JM. JM calling me Brooksy. That's what my papa used to call me. Pointer's in the house. Abby's in the house. Michelle. If I missed anybody at the pre-party, I apologize. Yesterday, we had a tear jerker for sure. Alana Raffield, if you missed it, go back and watch it. That family needs a war chest. You know, we are an army that wants the right thing, and sometimes we are right fighters. Hello, TCB. Hey, A-Wolf. If you have time, go back and catch it. It was a very important show. And after the show, we had a couple of true crime bombs. Hence why we're going to have 2 shows today. I don't have the other one up yet, but I will. This morning, we are talking about Crystal Rogers. We just spoke about her about a week and a half ago with the arrest, which is a conspiracy charge. And at noon, we're going to talk about Suzanne Morphew. So yeah, we have a busy, busy day. We're all mad here, said, is the other Suzanne? You betcha. Hello again, Erica. Kiki's in the house. Hello, Kiki. This case is wild, and I'm going to tell you something right now. It's depraved. It's disgusting. I cannot figure out the motive. Except for the child. I think when Crystal started having issues with B-boy, bitch boy, because, well, we have the same name, so I don't want to keep using my own name in conjunction with him. We knew other charges were coming, and I still think more charges are coming. There is a lot to go through. I saw a lot of comments yesterday in the Facebook group where people are saying, why did her mother never get custody of their little boy? Easy. CPS was very well aware of what was going on. They did many checks, but without charges against him, nothing could be done. As long as he had the minimum standard of care, and it seems like it was, he took care of his son, but didn't take care of Crystal. That's all I can think about. Bamacat said, you think dude is singing like a canary and more arrests are coming? I think the first one they got is singing like a canary. That's what I think. Because it didn't take long from that first arrest. What do they say? First to talk, first to walk. And we're going to talk about Nick today. Because I don't believe for a second old Nicky Poo doesn't have some knowledge of what happened to Crystal Rogers. Let's take a minute before we do comments and welcome our neighbor. Welcome the person above you and below you. Woo! Again, I believe there will be more arrests. I think they're piecing things together. And from all the new information, I think they're going to find out who murdered Crystal's daddy and Jason Ellis. Seems to me, not that I'm an investigator, that they're all connected. So yesterday out of Louisville, Kentucky, B-boy Houck, the primary suspect in the disappearance of Crystal, was arrested Wednesday after being charged with complicity to murder and tampering with physical evidence, according to an indictment in Nelson County Circuit Court. He was arrested without incident, the FBI wrote in a news release. He was indicted by a grand jury on September 20th. and arrested yesterday, which was the 27th. And the indictment was unsealed Wednesday morning with certain portions redacted. A lot redacted, in my opinion, but that's what happens. His arraignment is October 5th. So here is a synopsis. 8 years after her disappearance, Crystal's mother shares what the FBI first said to her. We're going to go back through that very important interview. It's very telling the way that the FBI worded their investigation to Sherry. And God be with her. My understanding is she is filing for emergency custody of her grandson today. God bless her. FBI concluded a 5-day search at Bardstown Farm for evidence in Crystal Rogers' case. FBI uncovers multiple items potentially relevant to Crystal's investigation. 6 years into the investigation, mind you, we're over 8 years. FBI says it's in their final stages of Crystal's investigation. So just before 11 a.m. yesterday, Bitch Boy was escorted into the Nelson County Jail in handcuffs. His bond was set at $10 million, and his arraignment is October 5th. The other guy didn't get a $10 million cash bail. There was actually rumors circulating yesterday that he already made bail. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Let's get to the comments and let's start unpacking this because a lot's going on. After our last show, Tiffany Ray said, one thing I definitely notice about his interrogation is that he is asked specific questions but answers what he normally does in generalities. We have seen that in many other cases where the suspect, the one that's involved or the one that did it, instead of giving poignant answers, they answer things in generalities or they give information that was not asked. Elaine said, thank you for covering this. It's a bigger case than you can wrap your head around. There are 3 other murderers they think are a part of this. This is my beautiful little town. Again, thank you. And that is always tough when it's happening in your own town. Linda had a concern. She said, I hope they keep a close eye on Joseph Lawson. Remember, he was arrested for conspiracy. She said, if he gets erased, it's bad news. Elaine also said, who's a Bardstown local, this is very important. She said, also, when the father, Crystal's father, Tommy, we need a lot of prayers for the Ballard family. When he was shot down, someone had trimmed the trees in order to make a clean shot. She said this was on the parkway. Carol said the seat was in the wrong place for Crystal to be driving. Yes, Crystal was not driving. Crystal was not driving. Snow, good morning. She said, ready to deep dive in on this one. We have 2 shows today, Snow, so pack a lunch, my friend. Pack a lunch. Here we go. Here's the loser right here. He's not looking so spiffy yesterday. You know, he thinks a lot of himself. He thinks he is George Clooney or something. He's not looking too hot in his perk walk, though. Check this out with me.
Where's Crystal Rogers? Where's Crystal Rogers? Where's Crystal Rogers?
Okay, and that's the FBI bringing him in. That is the FBI bringing him in, or as some people call them, the men in black. That's the FBI bringing him in. Now, a very important component to this case is the farm. The farm. So I know we went through it before, but we have to look at this again. Then we're going to get to the arrest and a lot about Nick.
Closer look at what we know about this property because, like I said, searches have happened here before. So here is exactly what we know about this property. The 245-acre farms located on Pascal Ballard Lane.
Okay, bitch boy's mama. He's still not off the tit, all right? He's not. She owns the property. She will not cooperate with the police. She's kind of like a Grandis. They know how to get a hold of me. They know my number. They know where I'm at. But is she truly cooperating? Is she truly cooperating? I would say no. They had to get a warrant to go on her property. She wouldn't let them on. Think about that. The mother of your grandson is missing, and you're worried about your Kentucky bluegrass getting drove on? Stupid ass.
Lane. That's right near the intersection of Loretta Road and Bardstown Road. It's about 9 miles south of downtown Bardstown. Rosemary Houck, Brooke Houck's mom, actually owns the property. Again, it's the last place Crystal Rogers is known to be alive. That's according to police. And it is not the first time investigators have searched here. Our records reveal the family farm has been searched at least 3 other times in the last 7 years. Within days of Crystal Rogers' family reporting her missing, police were at the boyfriend's family farm, closing down Pascal Ballard Lane with police cruisers. This video from July 10th, 2015 is the first time we know investigators were on the property. Family told us they watched law enforcement spend about 4 hours on the farm.
They would have something. I mean, you got to have a probable cause. So hopefully they found something. They're looking for more.
I tell you what, Crystal's mama and daddy have worked so hard to get justice for their daughter. And it's been painstaking. So we hear some other channels, and I am not here to compare cases or make an example of another case, but their whole, their whole thought process is, well, if there's no arrest, then they must not have done anything. This took 8 years. 8 years to get to this point, and they're not done. Look how long Delphi took. These things take a very long time to come to fruition. Izzy, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you so much for your donation to the channel. I love you so much.
After this search, Tommy Ballard, Crystal's father, asked the Houck family for access to the farm. He said he wanted to search the farm with cadaver dogs, but he said the Houcks told him no.
All right, so he's got his own cadaver dogs, all right? He wants to go out and search for his baby girl, and they tell him no. They didn't cooperate with him. They didn't cooperate with law enforcement. But here comes Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, and suddenly they had no choice. And here we are.
Fast forward 14 months, investigators were back on the Houck property, this time with a search warrant and lots of extra hands.
So this property is the last property that she was seen at, as far as we've been told.
In total, 18 cadaver dogs, the LMPD dive team, and more than 24 investigators took part in this search. It lasted 2 days. Detectives told our crew they found items of interest, and they towed those items away.
I'm hopeful. I think we're moving in the right direction.
Former lead detective on the case, John Snow, told us he believed a crime happened on the property. That was a belief shared by Crystal's family.
I mean, I felt that the whole time, Whether they find something on the farm or they don't, I still feel like that's where it happened.
FBI was on scene for this search more than 6 years ago, helping local investigators comb through hundreds of acres of farmland. It was 4 years before the federal agency took the lead on the case. And that would be the next time we saw law enforcement on the farm. Video from Sky 11 showing us the work underway, August of 2020. On this day, more than 150 state and federal agents served more than 9 federal search warrants on multiple properties, including the farm.
We want to get it right. We want to ensure that that our part in this investigation, that we are doing everything we can to solve the case.
And 2 years later, renewed focus on the farm, seemingly the next step to find answers and take this case to court.
And here we go. Could you imagine the mother of your grandbaby, the mama of Bitch Boy and Nicky Poo? She owns the farm, not cooperating to the fullest to help find a resolution to bringing her grandson's mama back. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. Canvas and Crime, thank you for the super sticker. And oh my word, it's raining memberships in here. Thank you, Diana. You guys are making me blush for your support for this channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are the best. Mama B, hello. Mama B said, welcome, new members. We have a members live tomorrow morning. You're not going to want to miss. Not going to want to miss. Terry T said, evening all. Where are you, Terry? Where from across the pond, one way or the other, where are you? Because it's 9:19 a.m. here. Ari says, I'm interested to see when they arrest Nick too. Me too, knock on wood. You never know. You never know. All right, let's get to the arrest. Woo! First, let's look at his mugshot. Look at that. Look at that fat neck. Wearing orange. Interesting to me, it says courtesy hold. And the judge set the bond so high. We don't see cash bonds like this for first-degree murder. So for complicity and tampering, he's got 10 mil. 10 mil. Somebody better sell the farm if they want baby boy out, right?
Arrest in the Crystal Rogers case. It's been 8 years since she disappeared. The FBI and Kentucky State Police have arrested Brooks Houck, Crystal Rogers' former boyfriend and main suspect in the case. Just hours ago, we learned Brooks Houck is charged with murder and tampering with physical evidence in the death of Rogers. Our Focus investigator, Shane McAllister, has been a leader in following this case since day one. She is now live in Bardstown with the latest. Shay, what can you tell us?
Hey, Brooke, well, let me put this into perspective. When you wonder if anybody here cares about this arrest, since we got here about an hour ago, I have talked to no fewer than 5 different people who have come here just hoping to learn some information, not family members, no one connected, just Bardstown community members asking, is it true? Was Brooks Houck arrested today? And of course, we tell them, yes, we have the court documents right here spelling out exactly what he's charged with. Something that really stands out on these court documents, Crystal Rogers' name is on here. So these aren't just charges that could be related to anything. We know Brooks Houck has been charged with the murder of Crystal Rogers. We know it is in connection to incidents from 4th of July weekend 2015, which of course is when Crystal was first reported missing. I have spoken to members of the Ballard family today. They tell me they're absolutely in shock. Of course,
I bet they're in shock because her mama's been saying since they couldn't find her to look into B-Boy. She has said it from the beginning. She suspected him. And with all the fighting and all the going after law enforcement and talking to the FBI, and I mean, everything they've gone through the last 8 years, I imagine she is in shock. And please do not forget, in this journey to justice, she also lost her husband because her husband was murdered. I also believe Jason Ellis's murder has to do with this. When you get too close to the fire, the fire is going to get you, or someone else is going to pull you back. Someone pulled her daddy back. They knew he was going hunting that day. They knew it. As Elaine said, they had cleared out the trees, not tree trimmers or anything. Someone purposely did it to have a shot on him.
Course, this is something that they have been waiting for. The Ballard family has been very outspoken in their belief that Brooks Houck was responsible for the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. But today, actually hearing the news is certainly weighing heavy on them. They tell me they are in shock. They are happy, but they're processing this. And then there's another side of the story that I'm getting tons of questions about, and I want to update you on. And that is the custody of Crystal's youngest son, Eli. Brooks Houck and Crystal Rogers had a child together just few years before she went missing. He was not even 2 years old yet. At that time, when she went missing, Brooks was sharing custody with Sherry Ballard. That didn't last long because Brooks started filing motions in the court saying that Sherry was changing the way his son felt about him, that they were telling him lies. And eventually a judge took away visitation from Sherry Ballard. It was something very difficult for her. We talked about it many years ago. Well, today I talked to the clerk about what could be happening with that little boy right now. The clerk told me that in theory, Sherry could file an emergency custody petition. A judge could grant it today, and Sherry could get custody of that little boy by the end of the day. Of course, family court proceedings are private. That is something that the Ballard family will have to share with me later. We are planning to talk to them here very soon to get an update on that. But it is a very, very busy day down here in Bardstown. The next big development is going to come next week, Brooke. That's when we're expecting Brooks Houck to be in court, charged with the murder of Crystal Rogers. We'll send it back to you.
Shay, thank you. And again, always on top of this case since day one. Let's take a look at the timeline of events since Crystal's disappearance.
All right, here's the timeline. She was last seen July 3rd, 2015. They presumed her dead October 16th and named him the prime suspect. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Sonia Allen, thank you so much for the super sticker. And I really hope Sherry gets custody. I really do. Even the governor of Kentucky weighed in yesterday. Nothing gives me a chuckle like when politicians act like they're part of the team. I love it. And I'm not picking on the governor because whether they're independent, Democrat, or Republican, they always find a way to act like they're part of it. You're going to hear him say, we.
This case is one of the most high profile in our state. It is certainly one that top officials know about and talk about. Today, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear weighed in on the big arrest and said he is very thankful for all of the hard work from investigators.
Well, it's good to see progress in the case, and I hope it continues to give the family the belief that we will get this case solved and that they will get justice.
That we will get this case solved. The governor's not part of solving the case. Our governor does this. He'll say, we. And I'm always like, hey, Kevin Stitt, do you have a mouse in your pocket?
For their daughter. The Kentucky State Police, working with others, have worked hard. They have never given up. They have worked this case over and over, trying to find new leads and new evidence. And so today I'm grateful for all of those law enforcement agencies for their work.
More on.
Absolutely. But it's one thing I'll never understand about politicians. When a big case in a state has been solved, they'll thank their own state agency. They'll thank the local agency. they'll thank the troopers, but they don't ever mention the FBI. The FBI has been up their asses sideways. The FBI is the one that brought Big Neck in yesterday. Talk about a week for victims. Whew. All right, let's go through what Sherry said, her interview, and this was just a few months ago. I know we went through it a couple of weeks ago, but it's really important. This is where she is talking about her conversation with the FBI. Lisa said, states don't like the feds. That's for sure. We even discussed that yesterday in the show about Alana Raffield. The local PD will not call out for help. Well, in this case, there was other stuff going on.
Heartache and unanswered questions. Where is Crystal Rogers? The Bardstown mom disappeared 8 years ago today, and for the first time, we're hearing what the FBI initially told Crystal's mom when they took over the case, and why it's been a tough reality to face.
July 3rd, 2015.
The search began early Tuesday morning. We're being held about...
The FBI wrapped up.
I figured we'd find her.
Crystal Rogers disappeared.
Remember Crystal Rogers of Bardstown near the intersection?
Parents Tommy and Sherry
Help
Ballard
to bring Crystal home.
Gosh, it's been like torture.
Year after year,
It's
still
it's
no answers.
I can't even believe I had to wait 8 years. It doesn't get easier as the time goes by.
Crystal Rogers seemingly...
Does her mama not just break your heart? She has the sweetest voice. She's lost her daughter, had no communication with her baby grandson, and her husband was murdered. I couldn't imagine being her. I couldn't imagine. Nene said, hello, Nene. You are now a member thanks to Fun to Ski. Those of you that received a membership from Fun to Ski, she's making it rain. Please tell her thank you. Thank you, Fun to Ski, for building this channel and keeping the community going. Thank you, thank you. We do have a members live tomorrow.
vanished into thin air.
People tell you it gets easier.
At this point,
It hasn't for me.
people know her story. In Bardstown, in Louisville, and across the nation. Mother of five gone missing July 3rd, 2015.
It's not like my daughter not to get in touch with us.
Her boyfriend at the time and father of her youngest child, Brooks Houck, is considered to be the last person to see her alive.
I didn't trust Brooks Houck to begin with. I knew what kind of relationship they had and how he treated her. And the minute that I knew she wasn't in contact with anyone, then that's when I knew something was definitely wrong.
He's also the main suspect in her disappearance, but has never been charged in the case. Family found Crystal's car abandoned on the Bluegrass Park.
The family found her car. They were out looking for her. He was not. They found the car. And as Elaine put in comments, she said the seat was wrong for her to be driving.
The maroon Chevy Impala had a flat tire with Crystal's keys, purse, and cell phone still inside. The case has gone from the Nelson County Sheriff's Office to Kentucky State Police and ultimately the FBI in 2020.
The FBI guy that I work with is busting his butt. And I mean literally busting his butt to find answers for my family. And, you know, he's very good at his job.
Over the years, the Houck family...
Now, just imagine when Mama Houck saw the FBI rolling up with their Federal Bureau of Investigation trailers and everything. Because when your son, who is part of the department, calls your son, who they suspect to be a part of it, and says, "Get out of there now," it's bad luck. It's a bad look. LeSleuth said he knew where the car was. He didn't need to look. Let's remember that when we talk about other cases. Adam Montgomery never spent a drop of piss trying to find Harmony. Why? Because he knows where she's at. Summer Wells. Nobody in her family or her circle have done anything to try to find her because they know. We're going to be talking about Suzanne Morphew in a few hours. Don't think old Bear was out wandering around Colorado looking for Suzanne. Seems he might have known. Don't think Casey Anthony was trekking through the swamps of Florida looking for Kaylee, because she knew. Excellent comment.
Farm, the homes of Brooks Houck and his brother Nick Houck have been searched multiple times, along with a storage unit. In 2021, the driveway of a home built by Houck was ripped up. And most recently in 2022, the FBI was back again at the Houck farm for a 5-day search. But what is the Federal Bureau of Investigation looking for? Because it's not just FBI agents executing these warrants. IRS agents have been on scene as well. Still, no arrests. Ballard says Crystal planned on leaving Brooks and the job she had helping him with his rental properties.
She looked at me out of the blue, just out of the blue. We were not talking about that. And she's like, "Mom, he thinks I'm an idiot." She said, "But I have everything." She said, "I have all of his rentals. I have his tax papers. I have everything." And she said, "And I hid that."
Well, bitch boy was scamming the government. They were, and she knew it. So what's the motive? Money or her wanting to leave with their son? I don't know. You know how money and love are in these cases.
And to this day, Fallon, if I have one big, huge regret, it's because I did not ask her where she put that.
She wants people to know just because you don't see the FBI on the ground in Bardstown every day, it doesn't mean they aren't working the case.
You know, the first thing the FBI told me when they got involved with this, and they're like, "Please don't take this the wrong way, but you know, we're not here to find your daughter. We're here to find justice for her."
Okay, we're going to listen to this statement again from Sherry because it breaks my heart. You have the FBI talking to her wonderful mother, saying, "We're not here to find her. If we do, we do. We're here to bring justice." I mean, at this point, 8 years later, she hasn't even got to lay her daughter to rest. And in the meantime, has lost her husband.
They aren't working the case.
You know, the first thing the FBI told me when they got involved with this, and they're like, "Please don't take this the wrong way, but you know, we're not here to find your daughter. We're here to find justice for her. And if we find her in the meantime, that's a very, very good thing."
Would it be enough, you know, to get justice for Crystal, but never have that answer of where she is?
Sometimes there are just no words to adequately express the pain your heart has endured for so long. Sometimes your tears tell the entire story.
I'm sorry.
But wiping them away doesn't wipe away the grief.
Nothing breaks my heart more Well, I can't say more. A lot of things break my heart. Hell, I work with a broken heart most days. When I see or hear a parent crying because they need justice, they need a resolution, it is horrible. We heard it yesterday. Oh my gosh.
Don't get easier. I know that's a possibility, but it's one I don't want to face.
The missing mom of 5 comes from a close-knit family.
I just have to be patient, and
that would give anything to have answers after 8 years.
And gosh, and pray to God that I don't have to wait very many more.
The FBI declined our request for an interview for this story, but released this statement on social media today. It says, over the last year, FBI Louisville has made significant progress in bringing this case to its rightful conclusion, and that Crystal's family and the Bardstown community deserve justice.
Oh, I had myself muted. Nope, OJ didn't do it. It was me. No, what I was saying is that statement from the FBI was a bit of a teaser. The FBI doesn't really like to talk to the media because they know how things get twisted. You very rarely see them talk to the media. And here we are. Here we are. We have another arrest, and it's their prime suspect. But remember, it's for complicity. Complicity in the state of Kentucky involves assisting the principal offender in the actual murder act. However, a conspirator may participate in the planning, but not the actual murder. A conspirator learns about the intended murder and agrees with the plans to commit the murder. It only makes sense to me and my little pea brain that the one that would have planned it would have been Fatneck. But who carried it out? Who carried it out? We're going to get to that. All right, this came out last night. Sherry Ballard, who I just absolutely adore, is fighting for emergency custody after Fatneck was arrested yesterday.
And special Absolutely, Doug. I mean, today's arrest certainly just absolutely huge news in this community. Brooks Houck was arrested by Kentucky State Police troopers and special agents with the FBI early this morning. We've learned that arrest happened on a job site where he was doing construction. He was initially booked into the Nelson County jail, and he did take 2 mugshots, one in a t-shirt, the second in an orange jumpsuit. He was then transferred down to the Hardin County Detention Center, and that is where he is right now. Take a look at his latest mugshot. You can see it.
Look at that. Woo! My goodness. He has no chin. It's like the neck forms with his whole face. I gotta feel mine. Okay, there's the jaw. Yeah, there's definitely. Man, this gives dickhead a whole new meaning. Look at that.
It right here. He was booked in an orange jumpsuit, something many folks here in Bardstown told us they hoped to see, but in some ways didn't know if they ever would. Houck is facing 2 different charges. He is facing murder and he is facing tampering with physical evidence, both of these charges in connection to the death of Crystal Rogers. We want to get you the information you need to know right now. So here are 3 things about this.
Murder and evidence tampering charges, 10 million cash bond. Cash. We see first degree murder bonds that are bail much less than this. And this is not first degree murder. I understand he has resources, but he also has IRS debts. So good luck getting to that. He was the last person to see Crystal alive. Mark my words, everybody, in the comments after this show, I'm going to get some comments about body shaming. Brooks, I used to like you, but when you started talking about people's necks, I got very turned off. Mark my words.
This arrest. First of all, he is facing those 2 charges, 1 count of each. Again, it is murder and tampering with physical evidence. A Nelson County judge placed Houck under a $10 million cash bond. That is a huge cash bond, especially in this community. And as you know, Houck has been the main suspect in this case since 2015. He was the last person to see Crystal Rogers alive. Well, those charges were filed here at the Nelson County Courthouse early this morning. And within minutes of that arrest, Sherry Ballard, Crystal's mom, was here with Crystal's daughter inside the courthouse waiting to talk to the clerk. As it turns out, they weren't here because of the Brooks Houck arrest. They were here for something else. They were here to fight for custody of the son that Brooks shared with Crystal. That was Eli. And tonight we have an update on that custody battle and more detail.
Ooh, boom. Didn't take them long. I heard it was going to be today. I missed this when I went through the clip this morning. Yeah, they filed it yesterday.
On the indictment.
Finally, his face is not smug. He knows he's been caught.
It's an arrest that has everyone's attention. Brooks Houck, Crystal Rogers' boyfriend, and the main suspect in her disappearance, charged with her murder and tampering with physical evidence. According to the indictment, the charges stem from an incident July 4th weekend of 2015, just days before Crystal's car was found abandoned on the side of the Bluegrass Parkway with her keys, phone, and purse inside. He was named the main suspect within 3 months, but never charged.
There he is again. He's got some dead eyes, too. He knew this was coming. He knew when old boy got arrested a couple months ago. He knew his clock was about to be punched. And he better get ready in the big house. They're going to see that big neck and they're going to say that's the perfect gullet for swallowing.
Until today.
It's just a miracle that this has happened. And finally, he's where he needs to be and where he's supposed to be. And he needs to stay there.
Federal investigators accuse Houck of intentionally causing the death of Crystal Rogers and destroying, concealing, mutilating, or removing physical evidence in connection to the crime. He was arrested without incident early Wednesday morning while on a job site outside of Bardstown. We've been able to confirm this was the moment Brooks was put into handcuffs. He has since been booked into multiple jails, taking 3 different mugshots, 2 in orange jumpsuits.
My first reaction was just share.
2 in orange.
Look at that. He's so popular. He's already making friends. Look at that. He got 3 mugshots in one day. Woo! Don't drop the soap.
Orange jumpsuits.
My first reaction was just Sherry and her family getting the justice that they have fought so much for. and never let up. Her faith has just been inspiring to everyone. And to get those answers, it gave me chills, for her.
While news of the arrest spread fast, Sherry Ballard, Crystal's mom, has been focused on something else, something she's been fighting for since the day her daughter disappeared. She wants custody of Eli, Crystal's son with Brooks. He was just a toddler when his mom went missing. We talked to Sherry about the custody battle 2 years ago, after Sherry lost all visitation rights and had no communication with the little boy.
One day, that baby is going to be old enough to come and see me. And he's going to know everything I have done to fight for him.
Today,
to fight for him and to fight for his mama. And she's well on her way. Sherry has been fighting for justice for her daughter, her husband, and her grandson. CPS said without charges against him, there is nothing we can do about removal. Nothing.
Fight continued with a petition for emergency custody, according to someone close to the case. We're told it was denied for now, but a hearing later this week could change that. As for Eli's dad, he is currently in the Hardin County Detention Center on a $10 million bond.
Coverage continuing.
10 mil. I saw someone in chat said soap on a rope. Let me tell you, when I go to someone's house and we're staying with them, for a weekend or whatever, if I see a bar of soap, I don't touch it. From my understanding, when they go to the big house, there's basically a sliver of soap. I never use bar soap. Never. I'll find some other way to wash my hands. If you see a bar of soap, it's been between someone's ass cheeks. Okay? No, I don't do it. Nope. All right. Very interesting. That came out yesterday. They are talking about the third suspect. The third suspect. And I'm not going to say on here where Eli is right now. I'm not going to say, because there are some crazy people out there that believe B-boy, fat neck, is not guilty. They believe he has nothing to do with this. Mama B says, I make bar soap. Woohoo! Send me some. Let me know. Third suspect, and I don't doubt it for a minute.
Coverage continuing here today onto the big breaking news out of Bardstown. Tonight, sitting in the Hardin County Jail, Brooks Houck, not only facing murder charges in the case of his former girlfriend, Crystal Rogers, but a whopping $10 million bond. We don't often see a cash bond figure that high. And
you don't. It's all, you very, very, very rarely see that. You very rarely see a bond this high. He's a flight risk for sure, but aren't all. Come on. Even with ties to the community, we know once people are out, they can take off. We've heard about ankle monitors. They can take them off. Something else is going on here. Yes, my friends.
And we want to start with that and the message it is sending to the community and everybody else. Joining me live is Nick Mudd. He's the former assistant Jefferson County Commonwealth's attorney in the Violent Crimes Unit and now with his own firm, the Mudd Law Group. $10 million. What is that message telling us about the evidence, what the judge thinks about this case?
Obviously, the judge is taking it very serious. I'll be honest, in the state of Kentucky in state court, I've never seen a bond that high. Even in capital cases, triple homicides, I've never seen a bond of $10 million.
Well, we can only read into it right now. What's it telling us? Is it saying a message either about their concern that he would flee the state or about the evidence they have?
I think it could be saying both. Certainly, he may have had the means, I don't know, to flee. And so the judge wanted to make sure that that wasn't an issue at all. And in addition, Maybe the proof that was presented at the grand jury, which we're not privy to right now, we don't know what was presented, but certainly we know they came back with an indictment for not only tampering physical evidence, but also with the highest charge of murder.
What about the probable cause affidavit, which probably has a lot of information we don't know yet? Do you expect that to be a bombshell in this case, since this is now 8 years long?
I think it might have some good information, but I would be curious of what the testifying officer told the grand jury to get them to indict the murder charge.
I want to ask you again about Joseph Lawson. That was the first time you joined us. That was back on September 8th. That bombshell surprise of an arrest. This man charged with complicity to murder in this case.
Yeah, look at Joseph and his fine self. Again, I'm not body shaming. I think it's okay to shame people that are accused of horrible, horrible crimes. I got accused of body shaming Stacy and Sarah Wandera. No. I'm shaming people that hurt children. Okay? Okay, that was pretty much it. So we have two complicity to murder and tampering. Who's the murderer? You be the decision maker. You be the judge. You be the jury.
Did his arrest really, do you think, set this into motion now 20 days later to the arrest of Brooks Houck? Do you think he, as a lot of our viewers have been saying, has been singing like a canary to investigators?
It wouldn't surprise me, but I think it was interesting. You and I talked. We saw when you and I saw the conspiracy to commit murder, not just murder, conspiracy to commit murder, we predicted one thing, and that was there was somebody else involved. And so it doesn't surprise me that there was another indictment coming. Ironically, the weird thing I see with the charges now is Mr. Houck is indicted not just with murder, but with complicity to commit murder. So I think you know where my thought process is going there.
Well, explain it.
There might be somebody else involved. There could be more charges against someone else because Mr. Lawson is indicted with the conspiracy to commit murder, which is kind of the planning phase of it, but he's not charged with murder. But we got Mr. Houck now charged with murder, but not just with murder, but with complicity, which would indicate that there could be a second party or third party. We don't know.
And Lawson specifically, the charges are even more than tampering physical evidence when he...
Okay, he's saying he actually is charged with murder. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, I'm not seeing murder. I'm seeing complicity and tampering. He must know more. Ghost Girl said, I'm a local. It's going to be Nick. Good. Get him for murder. Some DAs will say just knowing about it, just knowing it was going to go down is the same as doing it.
There could be a second party or third party. We don't know.
And Lawson specifically, the charges are even more than tampering physical evidence when he, quote, destroyed, mutilates, concealed, removed, or alters physical evidence. And then we saw that one search down there. I mean, he comes from an excavating company that was focused on a driveway, a concrete driveway that had been poured. What is the charge there specifically tell you?
Well, we don't know exactly what evidence it goes to, but it could mean a variety of things. Did it involve disposing of a weapon, disposing of clothing, disposing of a body, hiding an evidence, hiding a gun, hiding a knife? We don't know. So it could go to a variety of things, but certainly the way that it's charged would indicate they have something to go forward on Mr. Lawson that he either hid or destroyed or mutilated or got rid of some sort of evidence. And not only did they charge him in complicity, which again means most likely he did it with somebody else.
Wow. Okay. The arraignment's next Thursday. Nick Mudd will have you back next Thursday, and maybe we'll learn a lot more information and see how this all plays out. Thank you very much for coming in.
And we're going to follow next Thursday because I can't wait to see him shaking in his boots after so much time behind bars where he doesn't have his mama to take care of everything. And his bubby, yep, You bet. So they mention a third suspect. Now, this is this person's opinion, and I am also of the opinion. Who could it be? Remember the old CSI song? Who are you? Woo, 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 woo. Who are you? Who could it be? Well, you know where my mind goes. This is from Fat Neck's interrogation. Watch when he gets the phone call from the brother. Watch.
Agreement with that's what they did. That's just what they did. I never really struggled with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I guess where I go from here, we're still getting video from different places, you know, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure.
Hello? No.
What ringtone is that? I got to hear that.
I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with. Tori gets mad if she's been corrected or something like that right there. She'll say, well, I'm going to my dad's house or I'm going over here. You know, they'll want to flip back or forth or whatever, you know, split house.
Play one off the other.
Yeah, I know Tori does that, but I mean, I don't think they've ever really had any big issue on getting the kids. From what I can understand, that's been pretty good. I mean, if one of them wants them or Keith wants them for a little bit, or the kids want to go over there, they just had kind of like a mutual agreement where that's what they did. That's just what they did. I never really struggled with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I guess where I go from here, we're still getting video from different places, you know, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure.
Hello? No. I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with the Detective Snow. I've been up here a good little while. I'm filling out this this statement here and everything. Are you telling me that's what I need to do?
The brother is not a lawyer. He's a former officer. He had no right to tell him to leave that interrogation. The call was planned so Fat Neck would look like he was cooperating. Should have had a lawyer. If you've got that kind of money and your mama owns a whole farm, you can't tell me you don't have access to a lawyer. This was planned. I don't have proof of it, just my gut.
I know that. But the way that I look at it is, I'm innocent. I ain't done nothing wrong. What, you know, I know you told me innocent people have got jammed up, but if you're telling me to leave, I'll get up and leave. If you want me to. I know I'm going through a lot, but I'm trying to get this guy to help me.
He said, you're going through a lot. He goes, I know I'm going through a lot. I'm trying to get this guy to help me. This is like calling one of our girlfriends at dinner when she doesn't like the guy that she's on a date with. And you call with some crazy emergency so she can leave in the middle of dinner and not get stuck with him. Okay? It's so fake. I know I'm going through a lot, but come on. Come on. This was planned.
I don't think she's ran off with some other guy. I don't believe that. You can't make me think that. No. Yeah, so do I. I'll do exactly what you're telling me to do right now. You want me to get up and leave? Man, I don't think these guys, I don't think these people got vindictive just to skin me for no reason. Man, this is not their family. This is not.
Very careful phrasing of words. I don't think these guys are out to skin me. This is not their family. Now watch how the detective's watching him. And again, this is his brother on the phone.
We're still getting video from different places, you know, that along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure, please.
Hello? No. I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with the Detective Snow. I've been up here a good little while. I'm filling out this this statement here and everything. Are you telling me that's what I need to do? I'm not. I know that. But the way that I look at it is, I'm innocent. I ain't done nothing wrong. What, you know? I know you told me innocent people have got jammed up, but if you're telling me to leave, I'll get up and leave. If you want me to. I know I'm going through a lot, but I'm trying to get this guy to help me. I don't think she's ran off with some other guy. I don't believe that. You can't make me think that. No. Yeah, so do I. I'll do exactly what you're telling me to do right now. You want me to get up and leave? Man, I don't think these guys. I don't think these people got vindictive just to skin me for no reason. Man, this is not their family. This is not. All right, thank you. He thinks y'all gonna fuck is what he thinks.
I don't know who he is.
Nick, my brother.
If you want to go, you're free.
No, I know it, but I'm not. He just said just to keep sitting up here, to give a statement, do an interview, whatever I got to do it. But he said, darn, just to keep letting them just beat you to death over this right here. Just ask what you got to ask and let you know.
And you tell me.
You see what I mean, he knows more about this than I do. You see.
And have I told you that I'm for you?
Yes, you have.
I said, what did I say? My job is to find Crystal, right?
That's right.
However that happens, my job is to find her. Whether I find her hopefully alive and well and safe somewhere or not, my job is to find her. If I don't find her alive and well, my job is to prosecute the person that did something.
That's right.
If that turns out to be you, my job is to prosecute you. If that turns out to be someone else, my job is to prosecute them, to gather evidence for a lawyer, a prosecutor to prosecute them. I don't know whether that person will be you or not. Did I not tell you when you come in here and sit down today that right now you're the main person of interest?
Yes, that's right.
And I explained to you the reason that you're the main person of interest, right? You're the last person to see her alive, right? And I went through your timeline with you and explained to you that there's gaps in your timeline, right? Be it good, bad, or indifferent, you can't remember some things about Saturday, you can't remember some things about Sunday. That's not a judgment against you, that's just a fact. I am simply a fact finder. If you want to go, you may go at any time you wish to. I would never dream of stopping you, didn't tell you you had to stay. If you want to bring a lawyer in and answer questions with a lawyer, you're welcome to do that. I'd have been asking you the very same questions in front of your lawyer that I asked you today, right? I have not given up hope of finding her alive. That being said, you know as well as I do, the longer this draws out, the less likely we are to find her alive unless she's run off somewhere. I mean, that's just a fact.
That's right.
That's just the facts as they are. I am not for you. I am not against you. I am not for her family or against her family. Right now, my job is to work for Crystal. Plain and simple. It's just that simple. If that means that I have to interrogate you, then that's what I have to do. You've been nothing but cooperative with me. I appreciate that. We've talked. This makes number three, third time?
I don't know, I can't.
Three times. Here, the first time, at your house the second time, and here the third time again, not counting the polygraph, because I didn't ask you any questions then. You've not asked for a lawyer, you're right. That's your right to do, you're entitled to do that. If Nick thinks you should go and you want to take his advice, go ahead. It's fine. I'm not offended by that. My job is not to make you happy. My job is to find Crystal. If that makes you happy, awesome. You know, but make no mistake, my job is to find her. That's what I'm doing. If I offend people in the midst of that, well, I'll apologize later for offending people. If it finds her home safe, then I'll just take the blunt of offending people and go on. You know, just like what you said. What'd you say? Doesn't matter what they think of you, as long as we find her.
That's right.
So that being said, you know, you're free to take Nick's advice if he wants you to leave. I don't really have any more questions with you. I was just going to tell you where we go next.
All right, yeah, well, wrap it up and tell me what we're doing next. And if it's over, it's maybe it's false alarm.
So, yeah, you know, here's what I'm looking at, right? I'm trying to find video of her car getting on the parkway, whether it's New Haven Road or 150, trying to find some video of her car getting on the parkway in hopes that it will reveal to us when it gets on the parkway, because there's some confusion about that. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Saturday. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Sunday morning. Some people calling in saying it wasn't there Saturday or Sunday morning. That's just the nature of the beast. When you put information out there, you get a lot of it back. So I'm trying to figure out when it got on the parkway, and if I can, who was driving it when it got on the parkway. Maybe she was driving it, maybe she wasn't. Maybe somebody else was driving it. I don't know. You know, maybe somebody stole it and it got a flat tire and they left it on the parkway. I have no idea. There's a million possibilities about how it got on it. So I'm trying to figure that out. I would like to fill in the gaps in your timeline. I may be able to do that with the video at your aunt and uncle's house, because they may be able to show me when you came and went from the farm on Saturday, those kind of things. I'm probably going to interview your mom. I'm probably going to interview Nick and ask them, you know, if they were with you anytime during that time. Maybe they have a little better memory of it. They can fill in those gaps. I'm probably going to interview the employees that called you Friday and Saturday, or Friday evening and then Saturday, to interview them and ask them, you know, when you called him, what did you talk about? How long did you talk? Mr. Stanley or whatever his name is, you know, did he answer the phone? Did you all talk on Saturday morning? If you did, what did you talk about? Did you go see him? Those kinds of things to help me fill in your timeline, which gives me a better idea of whether or not you're involved in her disappearance. And that's what I do. So, and then once I've done as much as I feel like I can do, I'm going to move on to other things. I'll be honest. Beyond that, short of finding her somewhere, I've done about all the forensic countermeasures I can do. You know, we've gone through the car with a fine-tooth comb. We fingerprinted the car.
Okay, now he's relaxed. He said, forensically, we've done all we can do. Okay, we have seen this in other cases in interrogations. Well, we've done all we can do. We need your help. And they walk out all fat and cocky going, huh, all right, seems like they didn't find anything. Seems like they didn't find anything. But some of you found something under your seat, because Kiki gifted 20 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Grab your umbrellas. Thank you so much, Kiki. Again, I'm blushing up here. You guys, the way you support this channel and keep it going is just beyond me. All right, we've heard about a third suspect. We saw the fake phone call on purpose from Nick to Fat Neck. This is his interrogation. Not interrogation, I'm sorry, polygraph. Now, we're not going to go through all of it, but there's some very telling things that he says, and he knows the ropes, my friends. He knows the ropes. He's an officer. He's an officer. But in my opinion, he still slips up.
If at this stage, however, and I'm just giving you the facts to lay out, these are not things, I have no doubt you've pondered this since the very first day this all occurred. But I want you to refresh it in your mind. You think about it however you want to. What everybody that I've talked to believes is this was something that was not a planned out murder for hire type thing or that nature. It was about a relationship and something that happened, flared up. Like you were having domestics in your career plenty, and you know people don't plan those out. Sometimes you see a pattern of behavior. It doesn't appear to be the case here. That's why I asked you about their relationship, and others have as well. Nobody's pointing to saying it's that kind of relationship. Again, I'm not going to lay out all the evidence that's sitting there right now, and there's plenty of it. And I don't know the additional evidence that's going to come out as this goes forward, because we're just getting started on an awful lot of things. But rest assured, it's all going to be laying on a table where you can now point and say, okay, this is it. And whether it be a circumstantial type of a case where it's just you put together the totality and it's so overwhelming that there is only one conclusion that a jury can draw, that's probably how this is going to work out. Unless somebody wants to step up and be a man and say, look, here's the deal. This is.
He knows who he's talking to. He knows he's an officer. He knows. This is the guy, again, that called the prime suspect fake on purpose and said, get out of there.
That's what happened, and make it better. I can tell you, 25 years of doing this, it always works out for the best when that's what happens. People aren't going to come, you know the deal. Once you've interviewed a lot of people in your career, I'm quite sure, more than a few, I would bet. You've been in law enforcement 11, an interview can be as simple as talking to people or a traffic stop, right? You know people, is my point. And in talking to those people, you pretty much know what happens. You've been around kids before. You know, if you ask them a question and they say something, you know it pretty much right away. Well, that's what I do kind of on steroids. And I mean, it's obvious. Looking at your interviews before, it was already obvious that you're not being truthful about some things. Okay? To me, it was equally obvious that you're not somebody that had a major role in anything that happened as far as her disappearance and meetings. There could be some other issues and factors there. I don't know. But that's my assessment. But when we start talking about her, where she is right now, when somebody fails a polygraph, the reason I did the test like this, you saw that numbers test, right? When I had you write the number 5 and I had you tell me that you didn't write it, and it jumps off the screen that you're telling me the truth. There's areas right off of that list you did the exact same thing. And you know where they are. And what that is a guilty knowledge test. That's what I call it. And what that is your heart and your mind betraying what your body knows to be the truth. My master's degree is in forensic psychophysiology, which means the mind and the body interacting to determine the truth in an interview setting. That's what I do. This is actually admissible in court because it's scientifically valid. So when I say you know more than what you told me, I'm not guessing that. Okay? And when I tell you, polygraph, you didn't do well. I don't show people that chart. I'll show it. You probably don't care, but just so you know the facts. That's the results on your test. Section indicated 100%, and then greater than 99. What's greater than 99? 100, right? What are the questions? Do you know where Crystal is right now? Are you hiding any information about what happened to Crystal? Okay. You didn't tell me the truth on both of those questions. So, I mean, I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to sit here and make up a bunch of stuff and try to read techniques with you. We're past that. So the cat's out of the bag as far as your guilty knowledge. And again, I'm not going to play the games with you as the detective doing all the read stuff and everything else. I'm telling you, it's two individuals who know the way investigations work, what the facts are. And the time is now, today, to start fixing this problem. We can talk all about Crystal and how we need to get her a proper burial and her family needs closure and her son needs closure and all.
Okay, listen to what he said to him. Listen to what he said to him. Guilty knowledge. Guilty knowledge. Somebody's going to have to be a man here He's leaning up, looking right at him. Give her a proper burial. And Connie is making it rain. Look at that. My goodness. Pretty soon everybody in here is going to be a member. Thank you, my friend Connie.
All those things are true. But you know that. But you're a realist. You deal with them the today and the going forward. You even kind of said that basically in an interview the other day. People were concerned about why isn't Brooks acting differently with what's happened here? You know, his girlfriend, mother's child is missing and he's happy-go-lucky essentially. Well, people react to things in different ways, and I get that. That's why I say your relationship with him is a little different than others. It's a close relationship, but it's different than others might perceive. I'm the same way. That's an introvert's way of dealing with things. Introvert doesn't mean shy. It means you deal with things from an internal locus. We all do. I'm very much that way, so I get that. But that's why I'm not going to go into all these things about getting her a proper burial in the family and getting her back so that her son can visit the grave and all that. We all know that to be true, and you've already thought about that. You're dealing with that internally. What you're dealing with going forward is you, and more importantly, your brother. Your role in this, I'm assuming, because I wasn't out there to see exactly what you did or didn't do.
Was nothing.
Well, I'm not asking you.
Okay, we'll go ahead. I mean,
you did. I've already shown.
He said, I wasn't out there to ask what you did or didn't do. Obviously, you guys can hear, so you can hear fine. But it strikes me, because I think he said that for a reaction. He jumped in and said, nothing. Nothing.
Showing you, so I'm not asking you if you did or didn't. You did.
Okay.
And we both know that. It's for a lot, I'm not trying to be punny, but it's crystal clear, right? What happened here. Now, the details of who did what when, can I tell you exactly? No, but I can demonstrably point out through forensic evidence already that things that you told us about where you were at various times are demonstrably not true. We can prove in front of a jury today that you were places that you said you weren't. That's just one example. Again, I'm not asking for, I'm telling you the facts of what happened. You believe whatever you want about what I'm telling you. But I get paid to be truthful with people. Right? I'm here, my whole point today, when I'm doing a polygraph examination, I'm working for you, I'm working for the person in that chair. This is about a quest for the truth. And we're much closer today to the truth than we were when you first walked in that door. You can deny, and that's fine. That's what people do. It's will. That's what you've done at this point. And it's human nature. You know, when people are asked questions about a matter such as this, they immediately circle the wagons and start to, well, out of self-preservation, we all.
Man, let me just cut you off. I mean, do we need to take this any further?
I would like to take it to the truth. That's the whole reason we're here.
Is a test though. I mean, man, you're talking crazy.
Well,
I mean, you're talking crazy.
Was that your rehearsed response to what was going to happen today? Because it sure sounds like it.
I don't know what it sounds like. I'm just telling
you.
Well,
I'm telling you what it is.
You're talking crazy.
What's crazy about it? Explain to me.
The accusations you're making.
Yeah, I'm saying you were involved in this.
Absolutely not.
Well,
none.
You've already told me that. That's why we did the polygraph, to find out. Well, now we both know.
I told you what now?
You told me before you had nothing to do with it. Right?
Yes.
Well, now we're past that because I've already shown that you did have something to do.
I don't know what the test.
I just showed you.
Okay.
I just showed it to you.
But I'm telling you, I did have.
And I'm telling you, you're lying. I mean, I can't make it any. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm just telling you the truth.
That's what.
Damn, this is good. And I'm telling you, you're lying. I put a link in the chat for those that want to catch up. We did a show from the beginning to the latest arrest. He said, I'm telling you, you're lying. These are rehearsed answers. Remember, he's a former officer. Yes, he got fired. He got fired. He knew how to answer these questions. He knew. He's like, I'm telling you, you're lying. You have guilty knowledge.
What I'm doing to you, I'm telling you the truth.
No, you're not. We're past that. I've already shown you.
I've taken the polygraph. Do you have anything else for me? Because I mean, I'm not going to sit here and we're not going to go back and forth like this.
You do whatever you want to do. I said I'm.
I mean, I want to cooperate with you. I mean, I'm not here.
Tell me what happened. Tell me what you know.
I don't know anything.
We're past that. You've already shown me that you do.
I know nothing. I'm
And
sorry
telling
you.
that's not true. It's not me. I just showed you. I don't even show people their notes. I showed you yours.
Man,
And I even went the extra step for you to find out, okay, well, let's try to nail down what you know more about. You know more about this? Who would know? Am I saying that you did it or you don't know? I'm just saying you know more than we did. Whether that's a simple conversation with your brother or whether you were physically involved out there, I can't tell you. Either one of those things would explain what I'm seeing. My hunch is it's something that your brother told you.
I don't know anything. He has not spoken with me about this.
Well,
He's my
I'm
brother.
glad you said that because he probably would know better than to say specific things. So it's a matter then perhaps of what you observed, what you saw other people say. I don't know. I wasn't there. All I'm telling you is objectively, that's what we do. You and I do. That badge on there is what? It's to protect society. That's what a shield is, right?
Yes.
That's what we do. And I'm protecting you just as I would anybody else. But at the end of the day, I'm protecting one thing, and that's the truth. And objectively, looking at the facts, even if I were to take this out of the equation, why would somebody on numerous occasions in a formal interview under oath over there say something they know isn't true? Why would they do that?
What, you talking about me?
I'm talking about you.
Well, I mean, you think it would have had anything to do with being a little irritated about how things are going? I mean,
well, that's why you would lie.
I didn't lie.
Well, I'm telling you, you did. I mean, I can show that already. This is not even.
Tell me about one of the lies.
Well, I can do that unless you're going to help me to understand the reason behind it.
Dude,
I'm not going to lay out all the evidence that they do or don't have, but I can tell
I
you.
didn't ask you. I said, tell me about something I've lied about.
That's what we're talking about. In the grand jury, you said places that you were not. When I asked you specifically a moment ago about whether or not you were ever at certain places, and you told me no. Well, I already knew when I asked that question that wasn't true because I can place you there. Those are just examples.
Are you talking about the video out there in the driveway?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you don't.
But I can promise you that I have been 100% honest with you.
That's what everybody, 100% on. That's just you take retake and stuff. That's what everybody says. I'm 100%. I'm 110% honest. That's not it. Look, there's either the truth or not the truth, right?
And that's what I gave you, the truth.
Well, but you didn't, and I've already shown you. I give you benefit of that before you come in. I'm assuming you're telling me the truth. Look, I treat people the way they treat me. You haven't been an ass with me, and I'm not going to be an ass with you. I'm not that kind of guy. But I'm laying out for you what I've seen here. I can't argue with this. I've done over 2,000 of these. Trust me, when I told you I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing.
You must have slipped up today. I mean, I don't.
What do you think the chances are better that you slipped up and the truth snuck out here, or that I slipped up?
I know you slipped up, but if you're telling me that I failed that test,
I just told you in no certain terms you did fail that test.
well, then the
I showed
test,
you.
then it wasn't valid. I mean,
Absolutely valid.
well, listen, I'm telling you, I had nothing to do with it.
Okay, well, that's
Okay, and here's an asterisk with this because if you all have been following for very long, you know I don't care about polygraphs. I don't care about them. They're not admissible in court. They're an interrogation tool. But what I do care about is the interviews after. Whether they pass or fail, it could be immense stress. It could be, like he said, guilty knowledge. It could be lack of sleep. It could be a lot of things. But the interviews after is what I always find so interesting. Somebody sitting there with a blood pressure cuff on and wires around their belly or whatever that is, I could care less. Care less. We've seen too many innocent people fail them, and we've seen too many guilty people pass them. But the interviews after and their demeanor is always what grabs me.
That's fine, and I'll tell you, I'll even give you that you had nothing to do with it. Okay?
I know
For
certain
purposes here today.
I know for certain I had nothing to do with it, and I know nothing about it.
Well, that I won't. I won't give.
Well, I mean, that's
Because
just
I've shown that. Look, one of the two things is true. Either you know something, and it could be something relatively insignificant that you haven't told me.
I don't know anything. Absolutely nothing.
Well, then why would you be less than candid with me, with the other interview, and in the grand jury?
There's a reason for that.
That's what I'm saying. Explain that to me.
I had nothing to do with this, and I don't know anything about it.
No.
You know, just irritation. I mean, that just kind of worked its way into this.
Okay.
You know, I've been 100% honest.
Okay, well, that gets to, maybe that's it. Let me ask you that. All right, I'll give you that. When I ask you if you'd be less than candid, that means less than 100% truthful about things. You said you were irritated. Okay, which I understand. I would be too. Truthfully, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Okay. Have I been accused of things in the past that I didn't do? Yeah. Have I been accused of things I did do? Absolutely. Okay. And I've been irritated when I got accused of things I did do because I got caught. And then I got to face up to the consequences. You talk about being irritated in there. Tell me some of the things then. Like, again,
I'm not rehashing all this. I'm just.
No.
I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste mine.
My time is not wasted. Listen, we're here talking.
Listen, I don't know nothing about this. Nothing at all, and I had nothing to do with it. I don't know anything. Well, if I had something to tell you, I would. She's got kids.
I'm aware of that.
Okay.
Why do you think we're here?
Okay, look, I don't know nothing.
Well, something you just
not
said.
Even something insignificant.
Clear that up for me. What you just, because I said, why would you be less than candid with me at the other interview in the grand jury? And you said, why would that be? Because I was irritated. Okay.
Well, being irritated and being put in front of 12 people and accused of stuff like this, I mean, you're going to forget things and not be able to speak as well as you normally would. I mean, there's more to it than you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's exactly what I'm asking.
Some of those things you can't explain. I'm not going to sit here and try to explain.
Take your time to relax. Look, as I said, I'm sitting here. I'm here working for you. If there's stuff to explain, explain it. I will take all day with you to fix it.
And it would take all day to go through all this. I mean,
brother, you're on the clock. You're getting paid, so am I. Give me some thumbnail sketch if you want. Just explain to me what your big concerns are.
I'm not going there.
Why not? It makes no sense.
I'm not going there. Okay.
Well, it's not okay for me.
Well, I mean,
look what we're dealing with here. We're talking about the potential murder of an individual or an accidental death, right?
And if I knew anything, I would help you.
No, stop. We're going to.
I know where you're going with this, man.
Where am I going?
You're going to just bring all this stuff.
Okay. As I said, the after interviews in polygraphs are what interests me. Okay. Now listen to what he says. He already said she's a mother. Okay. I'm going to assume he's talking about Crystal. Okay, making sure I'm not muted. OJ knows how to use the computer mouse. Listen to who he would help. Listen to who he would help if he knew anything. Loud and clear.
Potential murder of an individual or an accidental death, right?
And if I knew anything, I would help you.
No, stop. We're going.
He said, and if I knew anything, I would help my mother. Remember, all those IRS records and everything that Crystal was hiding would affect the mother too. He said, I would help my mother.
I know where you're going with this, man.
Where am I going?
You're going to just bring all this stuff about Crystal, and you need to be,
No,
go ahead.
I told you I wouldn't go this whole read technique stuff with you, right? What I'm talking about just is what you just said about explaining it to me so I can understand where you're coming from. You don't have to go through a whole life's history unless you want to. Just you said that you were irritated and there's things that you don't know, man. That's what you said to me. Help me to understand what some of those things are that I don't understand. That would then make me understand the reason for this. There can be explanations, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, just this whole process, starting from the chief and going down. I'm not going to do that.
But you said there's things
I know about. This will be shown to him. He'll be irritated, and then he'll be watched. I'm not doing that. It's that simple. I mean,
what do you mean? I'm not
understanding. You ought to be following me, man. If you're sharp as, if you work for the, you ought to be following me. Okay?
Talk to me like I'm a kid then.
No, I'm not. Okay?
I'm giving you every opportunity.
And I'm telling you, no. Okay? I don't know anything about this.
Well, that's okay. That's not what I'm talking about. But you said there's things that
I'm
I don't
not going
know
into
that would
it.
explain it.
I'm not going into it. Okay?
Why not?
Because it's not worth going into.
I would think it'd be very worth going into.
It's not worth going into.
It's not worth going into. It's not worth going into. How is it not worth going into? Your bubby's girlfriend who has a child with her, who basically is the mother of your nephew, is missing. How is it not worth going into? And then we have the huge Freudian slip, which if I was in the FBI, call me Clarice Starling, I would have said, what do you mean if you knew anything, you would help your mother? What do you mean if you knew anything, you would help your mother? What would your mother have to do with any of this? Crystal is missing. What do you mean you would help your mother?
Why not?
Okay, I'm not talking about it, period.
Why not?
Because I'm choosing not to.
Okay, that's fine, but tell
Okay,
me
I'm not
face to
gonna
face as a man, I'm not going to tell you the truth. That's all I'm asking.
That's not what I just said.
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, then you need to rethink it.
Well, help me to rethink it then. Look,
I'm not
trying
going,
to.
listen to me, I'm not going into it, okay? I
No,
mean,
it's not really okay.
I'm here to cooperate with your polygraph and all that stuff, and, you know, you can make any kind of notes you want, you can assume that I failed. It didn't bother me.
What is it you haven't told me that's causing you such concern here?
Okay, on this one, Nikki Pooh is right. You telling me I failed doesn't concern me because he knows that it's not admissible in court. No jury will ever hear if they passed or failed. They will not. And juries, knock on wood, are normally heavily vetted. Good luck in Bardstown. I don't know where they're going to have all these trials. But he thought he was slick. Then he even tries to get into the agent's head and says, if you're even with the FBI, get real, dude. You know he gave you his credentials.
I'm not going into to everything that's happened. You know, I mean.
Like what?
I don't have nothing to do with this. Guys showing up at my house.
Look, this is the first day you and I have met, right?
Yes.
Have I been anything but cordial with you?
And I think I've been the same way with you.
I'm not accusing you of not being.
Okay, there's nothing else to discuss here. Well, I mean, if I had something to give you, I would. I don't.
Put yourself in my seat for just a second, okay?
Okay.
And I'm talking to someone who's a family member, essentially, is missing and possibly dead. And you're sitting here, and that individual, who you know nothing about, never met before today, right? But you've seen some interviews where he hasn't been completely truthful about things. Not just kind of, haven't been completely truthful about a couple.
I've been 100% truthful.
Listen to what I'm saying.
You listen to what I'm saying. I've been 100% truthful.
Why are you yelling at me?
Well, because you're telling me I'm lying, and I know I'm not. I know the truth, you know? And I've been 100% honest with you, the grand jury, and everybody else I've spoken
No,
with.
you haven't. Here's what I'm getting. We just said.
Yes, I have.
No, you haven't.
I most definitely have. And if you don't want to believe it, that's your issue. It's not mine.
It's not just me. I showed you.
Dude, I don't give a goddamn what your fucking computer said. Okay?
I think you do.
I'm telling you that I have been 100% honest with you.
Is this how you act? Does this act this way towards Crystal?
When somebody, is this how I act toward Crystal? I act toward people that accuse me of lying.
Woo! He said, is this how you act? Is this how you act towards Crystal? He's cussing him out. He's cussing him out. Is this how you act towards Crystal? He goes, Crystal. He getting big mad. And I tell you what, I have a feeling that the mom knows I'm talking about Nikki Pooh and Fat Neck's mom, the one that owns the farm. I have a feeling she knows a little bit more about what happened to Crystal than she lets on to. Again, this case, like we discussed a couple weeks ago, it's a combination between Pikeston and Murdaugh. It's all in one. All in one. He's big mad. Big mad. And could you imagine Mama Houck birthing them? Look at those heads and necks. They didn't just grow into that. No way. That had to have hurt.
When I'm not lying. That's how I reckon. No, I didn't know Crystal.
Then why are you getting so angry?
Because you're calling me a fucking liar.
No, I'm just calling you a liar.
Okay? I don't like it when people call me a liar. I'm being 100% truthful with you.
There's only the truth and not what you said.
Dude, why can't you? I'm being truthful.
Look, we're not 2-year-olds, all right?
Okay.
So it's not, yes, I am, no, I'm not. Yes, I am, no, I'm not. We're talking, look, I've been nothing but professional with you and trying to help you in this situation.
Other than calling me a liar when I'm not.
Look, if the right thing to do is to tell you you're not being truthful, then I'm going to tell you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Look, I don't care. Little lies, big lies, they're all the same in terms of the polygraph.
I haven't told you any lies.
That's not entirely true.
It is 100% true.
Well, then help me to figure this out.
Okay.
What you just told me a moment ago, maybe explain it to me so that maybe I misunderstood what you're telling me. But you told me because you were irritated and there's all kinds of things that I don't know about whatever, that I can't understand why you would say the things you said. That's what
Dude,
you
it's
told me.
just been an experience. All this is going on.
But
You
that's
got
what I'm
guys showing
asking
up over at my house taking calls. I mean, this is crazy.
Okay, that's what I'm asking about. Are we talking about because of things that have been going on since it's happened, or are you talking about there's things that have gone on over time that I'm not understanding?
No, I'm talking about recently.
Okay, well, how am I supposed to know that? If you don't
Yeah,
tell
I
me
mean,
that?
this is simple stuff, man. I mean, I have been 100% honest with you, and surely God, you can understand with people showing up at my house and my family out there taking cars. The neighbors are watching. Man, it's been screwed up.
Of course I can understand.
Okay,
But I wasn't there. How do I know all this?
Well, man, you just assume. I mean, if you were a patrol officer and you got your chief showing up, and I mean, dude, that's crazy. Who the hell?
Professional.
I mean, listen. They come up with all these lies about, well, there's bodily fluid in your car, there's blood. There is no way in hell there is any blood in that car.
I have no idea.
Everybody's told me that. You know, I speak with the state police. That's the first thing they said. Grand jury. I mean, it's crazy.
But I'm not.
What do you mean it's crazy? It's called an investigation. There's a missing woman. And you're lying right there saying you didn't know Crystal. If you know your nephew, you know Crystal, because here's the whole thing. Her mama said Crystal never goes anywhere without that baby. She lived on the property.
Damn right.
Okay, but I'm just saying this is crazy.
It may be. All I'm saying, look, I'm not vouching for all this stuff. The evidence will speak for itself, right?
Sure.
So it really doesn't matter what people want to say or not. The evidence that I've told you about that I can demonstrate are things that we already do have back that I can show. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think they're anything that paint you in a horrible light. They show discrepancies with what you've said. Well, there may be a very clear reason for that.
There is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. Look, when I accuse you of lying over here, okay, and lie is a bad one. Nobody wants to hear lie. We've all lied in our lives. I don't care who you are. I have, no doubt about it. We all have. Nobody wants to hear that. But somebody who's telling a lie, it's the same thing as saying they're not being completely truthful, right? Okay, that's a little prettier way of saying it, but it's the same thing. I'm not saying you're so dishonest, you're so but that's not what I'm saying.
Well, what I'm saying is today with you, I have been 100% honest, and I don't know nothing about it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and I'm saying that that's not entirely true, but it could be.
I mean,
listen to what I'm saying here, okay? You want to get mad in defense about it. Hear what I'm saying, okay?
Go ahead.
Because I'm truthful. I'm going to be completely truthful,
okay,
as I have been. Person would fail a polygraph on the questions that I asked you on a spectrum of issues, whether it be, yeah, you were out there and watched her get shot and killed by somebody. And again, I'm making that up, all right? You would fail if that had happened and you told me you knew nothing about it, right? Obviously. On the far end of the spectrum, if there's something you know about in your mind that you haven't told me or other investigators, could be about as simple as you saw an argument one time, and again, I'm making it up. You saw an argument between Brooks and Crystal a year ago where she pushed him.
They've never been physical with one another.
I'm making it up.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is the bigger picture is you would fail a polygraph on something that simple or something that dramatic. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. It could be anything in between. I'm not assuming it's a worst case. In fact, I'm assuming it's something you just haven't got off your chest with me or someone else. That's all I'm saying. Is it a little more clear what I'm talking about?
It is, but there's nothing on my chest.
Well, but here's the thing, and I think that there is.
Okay.
And again, I'm not assuming that it's something huge and dramatic. It may be. I can't tell you what this thing is going in your brain and telling you this is what you're seeing. That's not what I'm saying. All this does is tells me, do you feel you are being completely truthful or do you not? And it is telling me you do not feel you're being completely truthful. Well, that's okay. Your level of what's truthfulness may be a little different than mine. That's why I take the time to explain what I'm asking and why I'm asking it. Mm-hmm. So it's clear that when I ask that question, you can confidently say yes or no. Well, obviously, with those two questions in particular, about Crystal and about whether you're hiding any information, there's something that you weren't confident enough to say with 100% certainty. There's some other thing, and it may be a personal family issue, for all I know, that you feel.
Okay, there he said it. It could be a personal family issue, or he could be involved. She's out there somewhere and she needs to be laid to rest. Her mama needs a place to visit and lay flowers and give remembrance to her daughter that she gave birth to and raised?
Frankly, I think it's probably something along those lines that you feel, well, man, if I tell them that, they're going to think that he's just evil, or he did something terrible. I'm not going to think.
If anything stands out in my mind, I'll tell you.
Well, then what, looking back at, when you think about this investigation, and not from other investigators else, the investigation and what happened to Crystal and how that's affecting your brother and his child. With all this, when you sit at home at night and laying in bed and you think about what's your biggest concern, and looking back, because we all do, we all are analytical in law enforcement. We think about everything that's ever happened, right? And you start assessing this. You may not discuss it with everybody else. I get that. People handle emotions in different ways, especially in traumatic circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I know I do. I'm an internal person. But I guarantee you that means I think about it inside more than I'm talking about it to other people. What I'm saying is, when you're sitting there at night, you're thinking about it. Maybe you talked to Brooks, but maybe you didn't. What is it? Where does your mind focus on something that you look back at and go, man, maybe that's something that I should have talked to Brooks about, or maybe that's something that might have had something to do with it. Where do you focus? These are just suspicions in your mind, right? But what do you think about? That's what cops do. That's what we do. Where does your mind land at when you think about those?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know Crystal. I didn't know Crystal. I don't really know my neighbor. I know that's sad.
I get it.
I mean, I just wasn't around them. I never really saw them argue anything. If they did it away from me. I don't.
Well, that's fine. And if they did argue in front of you, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people argue. So what? My point is, if there's things, anyone along that nature, or even a comment that Brooks has made before or after she went missing, that may cause you some pause in your mind, that may be enough potentially to cause you to have an issue on the phone. It's just, I can't put words. I don't know what you know. I only know, do you believe you're being truthful? And you don't feel you're being 100% truthful, as you said. Maybe you're being 99 now. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if I did, I'd tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I can't just make something up, and throw it at you. I mean,
what I ask you to. That's why I'm asking you just to tell me the truth and what you. See, the way it's working suspicions don't do anything. Wondering, thinking, oh gosh, I don't know, what could it be that has nothing to do with it. You only respond in the way you do, your physiological signature of somebody who's thinking about this specific thing, which means in your mind, and again, I have no idea what that thing is. It could be something horrible, it could be something very explainable, but only you know what that is. And that's what I'm getting at, is trying to get you to just say, this is the thing that I was thinking about, I had some concerns about. And at that point, I'm going to, okay, well, that probably explains what I'm seeing here. And again, it's not going to be a big deal. It's what we do. When people initially say, I don't know nothing about nothing, and it turns out as they're sitting later at night, they go, okay, I do know a little bit about something, but it's probably not important, but I'm going to have told you I don't know anything, so if I tell you this, you're going to think I'm lying to you. That's not the case.
Man, nothing stands out. I mean, I wish I could come up with something, but I can't. I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, I've been 100% truthful with you. I mean, I can't think of any examples. They never gotten, I don't think Brooks would have ever got physical with her. I really didn't see them argue. I mean, I ain't got nothing to give you.
Well, and I'm glad to say it, because everything from what little I've talked to people about Brooks in particular, about you too, there's not a history of violence and that kind of stuff. Been no domestic accusations, nothing like that. Which means that whatever happened here was likely, I hate to use the word accident, but it was, I say, unintended, because people can get pushed and shoved, and I don't know. I haven't even seen her. How big is she? She's not real big, is she?
100 and, I don't know, maybe 150 pounds or something.
Yeah, well, to me, that's big, but he's bigger than she is.
Yeah.
Okay. And men being men, women, they get hot-headed, and they start pushing and shoving and screaming and throwing tantrums and all that stuff. Not all, I hate to throw a blanket, but a lot do. And all I'm saying is, in those situations, if it's a situation where she got mad and she pushed or shoved, and he's not going to hit a woman, it could be as simple as, in the course of that, she fell and hit her head on something. For all I know, again, I'm making up, I don't know, but in those circumstances, that's a real easy answer to what's occurred here. Again, we're going to find it, we're going to know exactly what happened.
Sure, no doubt.
But the time to hear about those things, what actually happened out there, before we get to that.
I wish I could lead you there, but I can't. I've got nothing for you. I don't know where she's at. We didn't have nothing to do with it.
He said, we didn't have nothing to do with it. I have listened to this interrogation several times. We had nothing to do with it. Who's we? Wouldn't you be trying to get your own ass out of hot water? I have nothing to do with it. I'm telling you all I know. And walk out the door. He thinks he's going to convince him, but he's not. We have nothing to do with it. He said earlier in the interrogation, if I knew, I would do something to help my mother, not brother, not myself. Let's face it, we're all going to get our own ass out of the ringer, right? We have nothing to do with it. Well, who's we? Who's we? This is him in the hot seat. This is him in the hot seat after a polygraph, which again, I don't care about the results. Don't care. Don't care. He became we when Crystal disappeared and he made that fake phone call on purpose to his brother and told him to get out of there. He has lost his job from that. Not we, he. And don't think that these little bitty statements we picked up on during this interrogation are not going to come up in court. We had nothing to do with it is a big difference between I had nothing to do with it. Huge difference between we and I have nothing to do with it. Let me tell you what. It happens to men, it happens to women, but these attacks on spouses, attacks on partners, whatever you want to call them, is way out of hand. Here is just a small sliver of women that have been lost to the person they should have trusted. Homes should be safe. And after this, we have another show about a woman that they found her remains yesterday. Crystal has not been found, but Suzanne Morphew was found yesterday. Well, again, you guys have great comments, great thoughts. We put all of this together as best we can without having the evidence. You're great friends. You're the best chat and best community on YouTube. We're here for true crime, not true grime. Sometimes we have a little time for that. But there's too many victims in this world to ignore. So on your way out, please hit the thumbs up because it helps me with the algorithm. I almost said thumbs out. Goodness. And I will see you guys back here in about an hour. We are going to unpack the case of Suzanne Morphew. Yes, she was found yesterday. Not in the condition we were hoping for, though. Thank you, mods. Thank you, members. Thank you for gifting new members. Thank you for your continued membership to keep the channel going, your donations to the channel, putting up with OJ, who sometimes causes a ruckus during the show, but that's okay. We know that he's our channel mascot. So I will see you guys back here, like I said, roughly about an hour. If you need to catch us on the rewind, please do. If you're catching on the replay, thanks for being here. Love you. Love you. You guys are the best.